My name is Felice, and I'm the Happy Star Wars guy. And on today's episode, we are going to talk about the Dark Nest Trilogy. The Dark Nest Trilogy is considered part of Legends. It was written before Disney took over. It was a really well written trilogy. In fact, it was really awesome. And it actually got me back into reading Star Wars. It was actually the first Star Wars trilogy I ever read. And it was all because there was this awesome cover of Luke Skywalker with Force lightning coming from his hands on the third book. And I read the back, and it said, "This by far proves that Luke Skywalker is the most powerful Jedi that ever lived." And this trilogy certainly shows us how powerful he is. And the trilogy also shows us how powerful Jason Solo is. And I've mentioned this before as I have reviewed a couple of books from the Legends and talked about it a couple weeks ago. Jason Solo evolved as a Jedi from the Yuzong Wars. He learned a lot as he traveled the universe, and he shows us in the introduction to the first book as he force walks and leaves a trace for Force users to see what happened at that time that he was in that location, and he left a trail. So he was on his own mission. Jason Solo started to go rogue in this series and on a hunch, and follows this other fallen Jedi to the Killik colony. And the Killiks are an insectoid group. They're kind of like Geonosians, but a lot different alien race altogether. But really interesting because they colonize. They're kind of like ants in a sense, and they have a leader, a queen, so to speak. But the queen ends up being a king, and the king ends up being a fallen Jedi who was actually thought to be lost and dead, but was kind of living in this hive. This series has so much, and I can't unpack it all because it would ruin the storyline. But to highlight it, we find that Princess Leia is now in Jedi Knight training, and she has a master, and she's the apprentice. And it's not Luke Skywalker, it's another Jedi in the Jedi Council of the New Jedi Order. And the trilogy by far is one of the best short stories of the Star Wars books that I've read, because it's 3 books. And as you know, the last couple of episodes that I did reviews on a 10-book series, 2 9-book series. They were really great, but this one is nice, concise, condensed, and it's fun to read. I encourage you to check it out. The purpose of this video was to really highlight one of the legend stories, as I have been doing, because I think if you're a Star Wars fan, you should check these out. And you can read them on Audible, you can get the book on Amazon, or in your local bookstore, support local. But these are a must-read. This trilogy is really awesome, and Luke does a fantastic job. Mara Jade is in it because Luke and Mara are together at this point. Of course, Han and Leia are married. There's just so much going on in this trilogy. Wow. Yeah. So, again, Luke saves the day, essentially, in the story, but you've got to check it out. I hope I've given you just a little bit to want to jump in. And did I mention Lobaka? Lobaka is a Wookiee Jedi Knight. What more can you ask for in a Star Wars story? Really? You've got Lobaka, you've got Jaina Solo, you've got Jason Solo. The twins are in full effect. It's after the Yuzong Gong Wars, and it actually is an introduction to where Jason starts to go down a dark path. And again, like I pointed out, and the reason I've wanted to post these videos about these storylines is you got to read it to understand how the director and screenplay writers of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker took these concepts to create a new storyline, to introduce new characters. I want you all to really appreciate Rise of Skywalker, regardless of all the negativity out there, and to see that the writers of those stories took quite a bit from the original storylines. So again, the whole point of making this video and the entire channel was to bring happiness and joy back to Star Wars, and I want to share with you my knowledge and also not spoil too much, so you go check it out, because you'll really appreciate it and you'll thank me much later on after you've read the trilogy. It's awesome. Check it out, the Dark Nest Trilogy. I'm going to put the links in the video from Amazon so you can check them out, and I hope you enjoy as much as I did. And if you've read it, give me your comments. Let me know your thoughts. It was a great trilogy, and I actually read through every book while I was feeding my daughter, who is going to be 14 this year. So 14 years ago to this moment, I was reading the Dark Nest Trilogy. Well, not this moment, but this year. I had started reading this trilogy in the spring right after she was born, while I was feeding her, indoctrinating her into Star Wars. And she likes it, but doesn't love it as much as I do. So anyway, thank you for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe if this is a new time, so you can check out more videos from the Happy Star Wars Guy, bringing you happy reviews, positive notes, and sharing the negatives, but my positive, happy attitude kind of outdoes the negativeness. And that's the whole point. Thank you very much. Have a great day. May the Force be with you.